As the court pleases, my lord. My lord, may I proceed?
Yes.
Thank you. Morning, Brigadier.
Morning, Mr. Ramza.
Now, sir, I'm going to start my cross-examination with certain preliminary questions before we address exhibits HH and JJ, which are the confession statements of accused number 2.
Yes.
Now, in your evidence in chief, you testified that you were tasked by Lieutenant General Nkomo, who was at the time the head of detectives, for you and certain members of the police to visit the family of the deceased, being Senzo Meyiwa, in October 2016. Is that correct?
I don't remember the month, but yes, around 2016, my lord, that is correct.
Ushilo-ke kubufakazi bakho kuyinhloko ukuthi-ke ngaleso sikhathi leso-ke uLieutenant General Nkomo okwakuyena wayehola-ke ithimba noma-ke wayehola-ke abaseshi, uyena wacela wena kanye nabanye ukuthi niyobona umndeni kamufi uSenzo Meyiwa ngo-October 2016. Inyanga angiyikhumbuli kodwa yebo kwakungo-2016.
Perhaps to refresh your mind, do you recall if you made a statement to that effect?
Yes, I did, my lord.
Ingabe uyakhumbula yini wenza istatement mayelana nalokho? Yebo ngasenza.
Brigadier, I'm going to refer you to A128, which is your statement, and your handwriting is like mine. It's like a doctor's handwriting, so I'm going to ask you to personally read it. My lord, the statement is A128. It's a statement by Brigadier Gininda. I don't think it's complete, my lord. Let me look for the part. Yes, what A128?
That is correct, my lord, and I do have the original A128, and indeed it does indicate that it was around October 2016. So I have
Okay,
the original
if you go
statement.
to the back of it and just tell the court when it was commissioned and by whom.
It was commissioned in 2019, November the 29th, by Sergeant Mohula, my lord.
Nginaso-ke le statement ungibuza ngaso A128 uma sibekwa-ke istamp noma sikhomishina-ke nge-29 zikaNovember 2019 uyena uSergeant Mohula.
And I'm going to request you, Colonel, with leave of the court, to place the contents of that statement in record.
So it reads as follows, my lord. I, the undersigned Bongani Nicholas Gininda, state under oath in English as follows. I'm a police officer with personal number there's a personal number, my lord, holding a rank of a colonel and stationed at the national head office, NATCOM's office. Then I've placed the cell phone number. Paragraph 2, on the 27th October 2016, I was tasked by then Divisional Commissioner of Detectives, Lieutenant General Nkomo, to assist with a visit of the Senzo Meyiwa family in KZN. She further requested me, I think, with my team to assist in the investigation of the said matter of the death of Senzo Meyiwa under FOSORAS 636-10-2014. It is prudent to mention that I was not part of the investigation of the said matter when it initially occurred in 2014. I was tasked by the Divisional Commissioner together with the following members: Lieutenant Colonel Ramohala, Captain Mabuti, Sergeant Mohane, and 4 tactical team support members. I wrote Sisiane, Ngwenya, Fusi, and Swahili. On the said date of the 27th of October 2016, we indeed arrived at Senzo Meyiwa's place where we met his family. We introduced ourselves and advised the family that we will be assisting with the investigation of the said matter in question. The family indicated to us that the son-in-law, Mr. Thope, has knowledge or information that can help us with the direction of the case. We were given the contact numbers of the son-in-law, and I phoned the son-in-law from my cell phone to arrange for us to meet. Mr. Hlophe agreed to meet us on the very same day in Wimpy, next to his place of employment in Durban area. We met Mr. Hlophe where we identify ourselves. Mr. Hlophe was specifically interviewed by Captain Mabuti in my presence, and his statement written down by Captain Mabuti, where Mr. Hlophe then took an oath and signed it after the statement was written. It was given to me, and I inserted it on the investigation file where I marked it on top with my handwriting. The said statement was never removed by me at any stage until the case docket was given by my team to Colonel Shibiri for further investigation. When I was reappointed by the current Minister and the National Commissioner to revisit the said investigation, the said statement was still in the docket when the dockets were given to us by the previous investigation team. Copies of the docket was given to 4 members of the investigation team. This means Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, Lieutenant Colonel Ramohala, Warrant Officer Makubo, and later Advocate Sirepo from DPP KZN. After this said dockets were given to the DPP Johannesburg for further guidance. The said statement was in all material times in the docket, and when the dockets were given back to me as the lead IO from DPP, the said statement was in the docket and is still in the said docket to date as A116 and A175 correct indexing. After the interview with Mr. Hlophe in October 2016, I have never phoned or spoken or met Mr. Hlophe for any reason to date. I have never taken or written a statement from him directly with my own handwriting or said in any interview other than what is listed above. Then it's the oath, my lord, and where I then signed, and then is the commissioning.
Thank you, Brigadier. As the court pleases. Okay.
Istatement ke ubrigadier awasenza ke ngokumayelana naloko kuya ke nokuthi uya kwabo ke khona iKZN kuyobona umndeni wakhe ke umufi sifundeka ngalendlela ngiyiphoyisa yabhala ke ipersonal number yakhe nerenki futhi ika Colonel emaphoyiseni ngisebenzela ke eNational Head Office nge-27 ku-October 2016 ngaye ngacela ke yiloyo owayephethe noma umcommissioner wama detectives ngaleso sikhathi uLieutenant General Nkomo ukuthi ke ngilekelele ngokuthi ke kiwe ke kuona umndeni wakhe uSenzo Meyiwa eKZN. Futhi ke okunye asicela ke kona ke mina kanye nethimba ke ukuthi silekeleleke uphenyo lalo ke icala lelo abe khuluma ngokushona kwakhe uSenzo Meyiwa elalingaphansi ko Force Letters Case 63610 2014. Angikusho ke nokuthi ke ngangasiyona ke ingxenye yethimba eliphenyayo lalo icala leli ke eqaleni noma ke eqaleni kwalo ngaye u2014. Mina ke ngase ngicelwa ke uloyo noma ke nginikezwa ke umsebenzi wa division commissioner kanye futhi nalamalunga ke alandelayo Lieutenant Colonel Ramuhola, uCaptain Mabuti, uSergeant Mukhane kanye futhi ke naba u4 be tactical support team Sesiyane uNgwenya uFusi kanye noTsayelo. Ngalelo langa 27 October 2016 impela ke safika ke kumndeni wakhe uSenzo Meyiwa la esahlangana khona ke nomndeni sase sithula ke lapho kuona ke umndeni siwazisa futhi noma siutshela umndeni ukuthi sizolekelela-ke ngophenyo lwalo icala leli. Umndeni wase usazisa-ke ukuthi kunomkhwenyana wabo-ke uHlophe yena-ke unolwazi futhi-ke ne-information yokuthi-ke ingasinikeza-ke uhlangothi noma ukuthi siye ngakuphi-ke mayelana necala leli. Sase sinikezwa zona-ke iy'namba zakhe umkhwenyana lowo, futhi-ke ngamshayela ucingo-ke mina-ke ngisebenzisa owami umakhalekhukhwini ukuthi asihlangane. Mr. Hlophe wavuma-ke ukuthi ahlangane nathi ngalelo langa lelo eWimpy eduze nala ayesebenzela khona eDurban. Sahlangana-ke no Mr. Hlophe sayichaza ukuthi siwobani. Mr. Hlophe naye-ke waba ne-interview kanye naye uCaptain Mabuti ngikhona-ke nami lapho, futhi-ke istatement sakhe sabhalwa phansi uyena uCaptain Mabuti. La khona-ke uMr. Hlophe wase efunga-ke wasayinda futhi. Emuva-ke kokuthi kuthathwe istatement sakhe sibhalwe phansi, sase sinikezelwa kumina-ke ukuthi-ke ngisifake noma-ke sibe kuyona-ke ifile la esamakwa khona-ke noma ingasimaka khona-ke phezulu. Istatement leso-ke asikaze sikhishwe-ke noma sikhishwe-ke kuyona-ke ifile leyo noma-ke kwidokodo. Kwazi kwa isikhathi la khona-ke sanikezelwa khona-ke kwithimba eliphenyayo ngaphansi kwakhe-ke uKennel Shiburi ukuthi kuqhubekwe nophenyo. Uma sengibuyisela noma sengicelwa-ke futhi ukuthi-ke ayibe yimina-ke manje ophenya icala lelo, istatement leso-ke noma ngiqhubeke ngophenyo lwalo icala, leso statement leso saseyingxenye-ke yedokodo lelo engangiliphenya noma-ke engalinikezelwa-ke uma nginikeza ithimba leli eliphenyayo ebeliphenya ngaphambili. Amakhophi edokodo anikezelwa-ke kumalunga amane ethimba eliphenyayo: uKennel Buthelezi, Lieutenant Colonel Ramuhala, Warrant Officer Makhubo, kanye naye-ke umshushisi noma-ke u-advocate Sirepo wase-DPP eKZN. Emuva kwalokho-ke idokodo leli laye landluliselwa-ke kwi-DPP noma-ke kwihhovisi labeshushisi eGoli ukuthi-ke basho-ke ukuthi-ke kuzothini-ke ukuya phambili. Leso statement leso ngaso sonke isikhathi-ke sasiyingxenye yedokodo lelo, noma futhi-ke idokodo libuyiselwa-ke kumina-ke nanjengomuntu oyena owumphenyi, libuya-ke kuyona-ke i-DPP. I-statement leso sathi sekhona singaphakathi lapho. Emuva kokuthi kwakhulunyiswana-ke noma-ke uMr. Hlophe kwakhulunywa naye-ke ngo-October ka-2016, angikaze-ke ngimshayela ucingo ngikhulume naye noma ngihlangane naye uMr. Hlophe noma sihlanganela-ke isiphi noma yisiphi isizathu. Angikaze futhi ngithathe-ke istatement kuyena uMr. Hlophe noma sibhalwa yimi noma kungasiyimina noma ngibe ne-interview naye emuva kwalelo langa lelo.
Thank you, Mr. Jonas. Now, Brigadier, you state that at the time you were not part of the investigation of Foslo Ras 636-10 of 2014. Who was the investigating officer at the time?
Brigadier Mudisa, the late Brigadier Mudisa, my lord. He was from Gauteng.
Ushilo ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso-ke wangasiyona-ke ingxenye yethimba eliphenyayo-ke kule cala leli case 63610 2014 kwakuwubani? Uthi-ke osengasekho-ke yena uBrigadier Mudisa kwakuwala eGauteng.
And the gist of your A128 is that Mr. Hlophe then made a statement which was obtained by Captain Mabuti. Is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Ngiyasho-ke la ukuthi-ke uMr. Hlophe lona kunestatement awasenza esabhalwa phansi uyena uCaptain Mabuti.
But furthermore, my lord, that the said statement made or taken from Mr. Hlophe is in the docket because 128 was in relation to the allegation or the assertion that the statement that was given by Mr. Hlophe in my presence, although it was said it was taken by me, is missing. So the gist of 128 was to correct the allegation, to say the statement was taken in my presence, by Captain Mabuti, and the statement is not missing, it's still available.
Yebo ke futhi ke lana ke bekunensolo yokuthi ke istatement lesi esathathwa uyena uCaptain Mabuti ngikhona ke mina ke kwakuwukuthi okoqala sasithathwa yimina engasilona ke iqiniso sasithathwa uyena uCaptain Mabuti futhi nokuthi ke sasingasekho ke manje kwidokotela noma singaseyona ke ingxenye yedokotela kodwa mina ngisho ukuthi ngaso sonke isikhathi leso statement leso sikhona ke u128 kulona idokotela.
And where were those allegations that the statement has now gone missing from the docket? Where did those allegations emanate from?
Well, my lord, it came up when so you'll see the date, my lord, it's 2019 when it was commissioned. So one will see that in 2016 I didn't make a statement myself because there was no need, there was no allegation. I was basically present when the statement is taken from Mr. Thope. Fast tracking to 2018, I then get appointed as the lead investigating officer. We then, while we were running with this investigation, then these allegations, they were in the media platform, my lord. In our discussion with the NPA, because I did say that there was a prosecutorial arrangement between us and the NPA, this assertion then needed to be addressed, and that is how this statement was made. Not that someone confronted me, it was something that the DPP felt that, look, there is this issue, let's just address it, and that's how I made a statement, my lord.
Funa ukwazi ke manje babuzwa msipili ukuthi ke le insolo lezi ayibuya kuphi ukuthi le statement esasingasiyona ke ingxenye noma sasilahlekile kwidokodo uyashoka ukuthi ke ngo2016 ngoba ke senziwa ke istatement lesi uyena uCaptain Mabuti esithatha ke na ke uhlophe insolo lezi azingekho sasingekho ke isidingo sokuthi ngenze istatement sesiqhubeka ke manje sikhulumisana ke siqhubeka nophenyo ke nayo NPA kwaba khole insolo ke eyibakhona ke kwinkundla zokuxhumana ila NPA ke manje seyisho khona ke ukuthi ke asilungise lokho ngoba ke kunalezi insolo lezi ingakho ke manje le statement lesi sa commission ngo2019.
Furthermore, my lord, sorry Mr. Ramsipel, furthermore, and I testify about this, my lord, when docket 375 was eventually then disclosed, when I said, I think I covered that in evidence in chief, with regard to docket 375 of 1/2019, and we had to make the copies for the defense. I saw also a statement there by one of the investigators making the same assertion, insinuating that the statement taken by Mr. Thope is missing, is something to that effect, and that basically corrects that cannot be true.
Okunye futhi ke uma sikhuluma ngaleli ke idokodo eli375 ila engabona kune statement ke somunye ke walabo babe yithimba ke noma ke ababephenya sisho ke ukuthi statement lesi sikahlophe ke asikho kuleli dokodo lesi so manje ke lesi sami ke statement bekulungisa lokho.
Now, Brigadier, if you know, prior to Mudise, I don't know her title that you mentioned that she was the investigating officer of this case. Prior to her, do you know if the case was investigated by another investigative team?
Yes. So my understanding, and that is now in relation of what the quoted contains, my lord. The first investigating officer that was leading was in 2014. So first it was the DPCI. That is why one will see that when the cell phones were taken from the people who were inside the house, the person who took control of those cell phones as an investigating officer is one Lieutenant Kenneth Nittling. He is from the DPCI, that's the Hawks. Secondly, the downloadings of the cell phones were done by Captain Mushwana. He is from the Hawks.
Okay, just a moment. Sorry. Ufuna ukwazi ukuthi ke ngabe uyazi ukuthi ngobani ke aboqala noma ke ithimba lokuphenya loqala laliphenya leqala okokuqala ke okokuqala nje kwakuyi DPCI lokubizwa ukuthi ke ama Hawks uma kuthathwa ke umakhalekhukhwini babantu ababesendlini ke bathathwa uLieutenant Kenneth Nittling obuya kona ke ama Hawks uma kwenziwa ke manje pitch imininingwane noma phecelezi ke i-downloading kwaba ke uKenneth Mushwana nayo obuya kuma Hawks.
The application for section 205 for everyone that was in the house, my lord, were done by Captain Bomsrang. He is also from DPCI, the Hawks.
Captain
Bomsrang. He's a Lieutenant Colonel now, Lieutenant Colonel Bomsrang.
Uma kwenziwa ke isicelo sama section 205 ke senziwa ke uCaptain Bomsrang kodwa ke manje uKenneth ke naye ubuya kuma Hawks.
Now, in few days from there, my lord, then the detectives, provincial detectives, then took over, and then female Captain Mutetwa was then the IO of this matter. That's female Colonel Mutetwa.
bese kuthi ke
Captain, sorry.
kuyinsuku konje ezimbalwa ke emuva ke kwalokho base kuthi ke manje ke ihhovisi ke labaseshi ke kwaba yilona ke manje esilithatha uphenyo owesifazana ke uCaptain Mthethwa kwaba uyena ke manje oyena ophenya icala.
So Captain Mthethwa, my lord, was also working in the same office or provincial office where Brigadier Modise was. He was a colonel at the time, and there was also Brigadier Ndlovu. So it was the same office, and I'm not sure at what stage who was playing at what role at the time, but I know Captain Mthethwa was the lead IO. At the time when I was tasked by the DIVCOM, I know it specifically is Brigadier Modise, because when we got to Mr. Madlala to follow this assertion by Mr. Thope that he told him what is contained in that statement, I was referred to Brigadier Modise to say, we don't know you, this is the IO, and I had to ask him to say, look, we have the request from the DIVCOM, can you allow this person to respond? And I've indicated, my lord, that there was resistance. So that is how I know the presence of Brigadier Modise.
Futhi ke yena uCaptain Mthethwa wayesebenza ke kuhhovisi elilodwa ke naye ke uColonel uBrigadier Modise okwakuyiColonel ke ngaleso sikhathi, kanye futhi naye ke uBrigadier Ndlovu ke angazi nje ukuthi ke ubani ke owayebambe liphi iqhaza ngaleso sikhathi leso. Futhi ke ukwazi kwami ngaye ke uBrigadier Modise kwakungenkathi ke njengoba bengikushilo ngaphambili lokho ukuthi ke uma sengiya noma sesiya kuyena ke uTumelo Madlala siyombuza ke ngalokho okushiwo uyena ke uMr Hlophe ukuthi yiloko akushela uTumelo abesethi ke uTumelo Madlala cha anginazi nina ke umuntu engimaziyo mina ke uBrigadier Modise yilapho ke engazi khona ke ngaye uBrigadier Modise ngase ngimcela ke ukuthi ke awulekelele lo muntu lona ke khona ke sikufunayo kuyena ke ngishilo ke nangaphambili ukuthi ke kwaba khona ke ungavumi nalapho.
Lastly, my lord, I further know that there was a time when the provincial detectives were working hand in glove with DPCI, and I saw that in the docket. All this I'm referring to the docket, my lord, because there was a time where Major General Mukotedi was participating, I don't know whether it was a reconstruction or some form of activities with the provincial detectives. So there was also that joint type of an investigation team.
So the detectives were working hand in glove with office
DPCI.
Thank you. Futhi ke abaseshi ke besifunda babesebenza ke noma besebenza ke ndawonye kanye naye ke DPCI phecelezi ke ama-Hawks. Ngiyazi ke ukuthi kuna Major General Mukotedi ke naye ke owaye khona ke noma ke eyingxenye ke lapho ila ababesebenzisana khona ke nabaseshi besifunda.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, your further testimony is that your team, where now you assist with the matter, this occurred on the 12th of November 2018. Is that correct?
That's correct, my lord. That's when I signed for the docket after being appointed by the previous National Commissioner General Stole.
Yebo kwakungayi-12 November 2018 ke ingalelo langa ke engasayinda ngalo ke ngisayindela ke idocket emuva kokuthi sengiqokiwe ke yilowo wawumcommissioner ngaleso sikhathi uGeneral Sithole.
And that the officers that were tasked with you were three more, that is Ramohala, Colonel Buthelezi, Warrant Officer Makubo, and yourself. So there were four of you. That's correct?
It was four of us, that's correct, my lord, in a sense that was the specific members, but the cold case unit, which was under my control, my lord, was tasked, in other words, handling this matter. Colonel Ramohala was part of the cold case unit. It is these two members who were seconded to the unit to assist specifically in this investigation, but the unit itself, which didn't have many members, I think it was myself, Colonel Ramohala, Sergeant Mohane, Sergeant Mohula, I think we're 4 or 5, my lord. So we're tasked to lead that. So all the resources or equipments that were needed were coming from that. But second to that, it was then these two members who were then said must work specifically with the case of Senzo Meyiwa, my lord.
Kodwa osho ukuthi ke ninake nobanye uwena ke uLieutenant Colonel Ramohala uButhelezi kanye noMakhubo ke kwakuyinina ke mina noba u4 basebenza ngalecala. Okwenzeka ke ukuthi ke i-cold case unit lena engaphansi kwami ke noma ke engihola yo ke kwakuyiyona ke manje enikezwe umsebenzi ukuthi ke ayiphenye lelicala kwakuyimina ngiyazi ukuthi asiba u4 imina uKolonel Ramohala uSergeant Mukhula kanye uSergeant Mukhane kwase kuthi laba ababili ke nabo ke bese fakwa-ke nabo-ke ukuthi-ke abalekeleleke ukuphenywa kwaleli cala likaSenzo Meyiwa.
But to put it into correct context, my lord, the communication during that appointment referred to the four of us, meaning myself, Colonel Ramohala, Warrant Officer Makubo, and Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi.
Kodwa-ke uma manje-ke sekukhishwa-ke izwi-ke manje liphumela thina-ke soba u-4 imina, uLieutenant Colonel Ramohala, Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi kanye no-Warrant Officer Makubo.
And as you now state, as you had previously stated, Warrant Officer Makubo is seconded from DPCI, and Colonel Buthelezi is seconded from the psychology unit of the SAPS based in Pretoria. Is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Nanjengoba usho-ke kwase-ke manje kuvela-ke nalamagama amabili-ke u-Warrant Officer Makubo yena-ke obuya-ke ku-DPCI ama-Hawks kanye futhi-ke naye uLieutenant Colonel Buthelezi obuya-ke kule unit-ke ye-psychology ela ePretoria. Yebo kuyiqiniso.
And thereafter, as one of the leading investigators, you then make a conscious decision that all 4 leading members, I'm not speaking about Mohane Mohola and the others, yourself, Buthelezi, Warrant Officer Makubo, and Captain Ramohala, must be availed with copies of 63610 for bouncing off idea purposes regarding the direction of the case, correct?
That is partly correct, my lord. It's correct in the sense of the last part, which talks to bouncing off the ideas insofar as what the docket tells us, making the copies. That is correct. But the first assertion that the 4 of us were leading investigating officers, it's incorrect. The mandate was very clear, and the ranking structure was also very clear. I was the most senior person at that time. I was a full colonel. There was no full colonel in that structure. I was the most senior person, and I was appointed as such as the lead investigating officers. These other 3 members were part of the investigation team in terms of the listing, but not as lead investigating officers, my lord.
Manje-ke bese kuthi-ke nanjengoba ushilo ukuthi nanjengoba nina-ke nihola-ke noma u-4-ke nikuyinina-ke abaholayo-ke uphenyo lolu-ke ukuthi-ke manje-ke nasenikezana amakhophi-ke amadokodo ukuthi-ke manje-ke anikhombisane-ke noma nixoxisane-ke nibonisane ukuthi-ke uphenyo lolu aluye ngakuluphi-ke uhlangothi. Yebo lokho okwesibili-ke kona-ke ukuthi-ke sasizotshelana noma sixoxisane-ke ukuthi-ke icala noma uphenyo luya ngakuluphi uhlangothi kuyiqiniso. Kodwa-ke mayelana nalokhu kokuqala okushilo kakusilona-ke iqiniso kona-ke ukuthi yebo sasiba u-4 ekuyithina-ke ithimba eliphenyayo, kodwa-ke kwakuyimina-ke wayephezulu-ke ngesikhundla ngangiyi-colonel ophelele-ke ngaleso sikhathi leso, futhi-ke kwakuyimina oholayo-ke noma-ke ohamba phambili-ke ngophenya kwecala.
Okay, I accept that correction that you were the main lead investigator. And your testimony further is that during the course of discussions amongst the investigative team, it became quite clear that there were differences of opinion between, on the one hand, yourself, Ramohala, agreeing, and on the other hand, Warrant Officer Makubo and Colonel Buthelezi disagreeing. Is that correct?
Yes, it became very clear, my lord.
Mase uqhubeka-ke manje uphenyo-ke kwaye kwacaca-ke ukuthi-ke manje kukhona-ke ungaboni ngasonye kulona-ke ithimba leli eliphenyayo-ke wena-ke Ramohala bese futhi Makubo-ke kanye naye-ke uButhelezi. Yebo lokho kwacaca ukuthi yebo kwakhona-ke ungaboni ngasonye.
And the differences of opinion according to your testimony were regarding the theory of the case, namely the theory whether or not there were intruders in the house, if there were intruders or if there were no intruders. You and Ramohala believing that there were intruders, and Warrant Officer Buthelezi, Makubo and Colonel Buthelezi disagreeing, saying there were no intruders. Is that correct?
It is correct, my lord, but it later became clear when, like I said, when I read 375, the docket 375, that there was also, as I said, a statement that seems to, not seem, it says that the statement given to Mr. Thorpe or taken by me is actually not in the docket. And the assertion that was given, and which I think that's where these allegations were coming from, it was to an extent that it was creating an impression that Mr. Thorpe gave a statement that would have been a breakthrough in this matter. and that statement somehow was not filed in the docket by me. And that assertion, and I think that at that time, obviously I was not aware of what is contained at docket 37. It was not even open, but subsequently it was open, and I saw that. So I don't know where it's coming from a lot, but it was there. But it also created the wedge, because there was this suspicion where I was not confronted to say, but Colonel, there's a belief that you took a statement. Where's the statement? So there was that. I'm saying, in addition to it, my lord, it was in the background, but later then I came to know that this is that. But yes, there were difference of opinion, and those opinions, those difference of opinion, were in existence right up to the 29, when we had that meeting at the DPP's office, the 29th of January 2019, with the team, meaning Waranto Samakubo, Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, under the lead of Brigadier Perumal. It was clear that Brigadier Perumal was saying, insofar as docket 636 of 10/2014, we are still investigating. I remember that the two members in that meeting to the DPP, their assertion was that insofar as that docket, which, like I said, my lord, I saw the file, they were saying the investigation is concluded, and they want a decision. So that was just a confirmation that there was really difference of opinion, even the approach.
37.5 concluded.
Yes, okay. On the 29th of
January
2019.